live broadcast today, the holistic art of Dugukan. And as usual, my warmest regards to all the holistic art practitioners in the country and also outside the country. And this is always our oneness with all the stars, creating the giant waves of positive energies to help for the healing of life and nature. With all the brothers and sisters, practitioners of art of life, angels, contacts and connections, all the best of energy, the best of vigor of spirit. While we're on these activities of our oneness with all the stars. And this is our holistic art. And welcome to this live conference. And this live conference and our live broadcast, the holistic art of Dugukan, is intended for distant energy healing and divine illumination, sharing the spirit of our oneness with all the stars. So the oneness with all the stars, our oneness with all the lights. So warmest regards to all the light workers in the world. Wish you know that so many light workers now in the world, in different countries. So I hope that everybody today is in the best vigor of spirit and more of the positive, really positive energies to overcome all the trials in life. And that the negative energies cannot really overcome the people of light. Because with the power of the Supreme Absolute, nothing can really topple you down because of the truth of the Supreme Absolute. So that's the secret in life, is having the truth of the Supreme Absolute, making you stronger wherever you are, and you're always capable to overcome whatever trials that may come to your life. Okay, so welcome in our live conference today. And for all the viewers in this live conference, and then watch up for the distant energy healing that we are going to perform today in this live conference. So you can connect with the distant energy healing by opening up your heart and open up your heart to receive divine healing for whatever kinds of illness or illnesses that you have. And then we are going to ask the blessings of the Supreme Infinite, the Almighty Supreme Source in heaven, to help us heal our problems, heal our illnesses, guide us into the right way, and make us able to ascend life into higher dimension. Life is really wonderful. Indeed, life is really wonderful for everybody, so long as we know the truth of the Supreme Absolute. So that's why it's abiding life with the truth of the Supreme Absolute that will lead us into the deeper meaning in life, that will give us the wonderful meaning of our journey here in the physical world. Okay, so more power everyone today, and not hesitate to participate, and you can shut down your comment. And also prepare your glass of water, asking the blessings of the Supreme Absolute, Supreme Master Akarasa, Supreme Super Light Angels, or Supreme Source, the heaven. I'm talking about super light body of the Supreme Absolute, to refer to the Supreme Source to give us the divine healing and then whatever problems do we have in our lives and then illnesses, and we can heal it by the power of the Supreme Infinite. So sharing with you the blessings of this oneness with all the stars. Sharing with you the divine connections of the Supreme Infinite. And this divine illumination, highlighting very important connections with the Supreme Absolute, the divine connection, which I refer to the bridging of the divine radiance of the Supreme Master of Wisdom, Supreme Super Light Angels. And brothers and sisters joining with us, they are practitioners of Art of Life 172 in different chapters and different region and different countries. And they are passionately doing their light service to the brothers and sisters, to the people that shall need divine healing. So to this time, very important topic that we are going to share with everyone, the ladders of ascension into higher dimension. That's the divine guidance from the Supreme Master of Heaven. What are the activities that will aid us to ascend life into higher dimension. And there are activities. So that's why light service that we're doing right now are exercises that will lead us into the way to arrange our lives' final ascension into higher dimension. In another term for ascension, that's eternal salvation of the soul. And that's actually, to this time, is art of survival. We should be able to overcome the trials in our lives to be able to ascend. This is actually arranging life for the final ascension into higher dimension. Why we are going to arrange our lives for the bigger events of time? Because bigger events of time are actually, the meaning of that are actually trials, bigger activities which will really shock the soul or the people who are not ready for that. Just like, for example, illnesses from the virus or viruses. So we should be careful on the harms of the negative energies, viruses, negative psychic attacks, and which include negative destiny. That's worse. That's why, because we cannot really delete the truth of destiny. So that would include negative destiny. We can only accept positive destiny, and that's the rule in life. The rule in life is be always at the positive side, never with the art of destruction, because the art of destruction will lead you to ruin your life. It means that we have to take good care of ourselves by taking good care of the essences of the soul. So that's why we should be able to realize the ladders of ascension, and then how we are going to arrange ourselves for the bigger events of time so we can really survive and we can escape from that negative energy which can really topple down the people, either people of light or people of darkness, regardless of what we are, who we are. And then if we are not in the light of the absolute. Okay, so more power everyone, and the necessity to participate, and I hope that you can join today's live conference in this hour. One is with all the stars creating the giant waves of positive energies to help the healing of life and nature. Okay, joining with us right now.
Message from Update Junrei Fu. Blissful day SGMPS1-72, and blissful day to all Dugukan stars all over the cosmos. Watching from Taguig City, Davao del Norte.
Yes, blissful day to you. Update Junrei, really nice seeing you today. And regards to everyone there sa tanang mga kaigalaan nato diya sa Tagum, Davao. Mga Panginoon, ana-adya tanan sa kapiskay sa panglawas. And more of the activities as really good energies are really coming up and even getting even more tougher. Even tougher every day. So let's get to know more about Angela's contacts and corrections and sharing that lesson to the people, not just only the people in our community, to all the people, to the entire humanity, shining in the entire planet. That's very significant by this time, because the message is to spread the lessons of art of life. Okay, so more power, and always in our one is with all the stars. And joining with us,
Message from Matan Marvic Brahmin. A very good morning SGMPS1-72. Regards to all fellow viewers.
yes, a very good day today. Matan, Maribik, and really nice seeing you today, and more power. Regards kanimo ug sa lahat nating mga kaibigan dyan sa India chapter. Wish you more positive energies and angels, contacts and connections, and that's our one is with all the stars. More power to you.
Message from Magaton Lita Salas. Good morning SGMPS1-72. Watching now from Butuan City, but now I'm here in Kinukitan, Misamis Oriental.
Yes, Lita, good day to you and more power. Mga pangumusta nyo diya, tanan. Mga Panginoon na diya tanan sa kapiskay, kalagsik sa panglawas. Okay, so the ladders of ascension. And the ladders of ascension, of course, involving exercises. That's why I had enumerated the certain tasks that will help us arrange our lives for bigger events of time, for the final ascension of life into higher dimension. First task that will lead us into even to the realization of the soul is actually divine healing. So inherent in the mission of the divine healing, of course, inherent in the divine healing practice is the development of our energy. This is internal energy to be developed in our physical. And we will be harnessed in how we are going to use internal energy because it is essential. Especially when we're doing energy healing. When we are doing energy healing, we are going to use separate electromagnetic force within, or a separate electromagnetic force in the body. That's actually, it will begin with internal energy, and higher than that internal energy, our divine connections with the advanced spiritual world. So we have the divine connection with the advanced spiritual worlds, which will activate when we do divine healing. So inherent in the practice of divine healing is the activations of your divine connection with the spiritual world. I'm talking about advanced spiritual world, beyond astral spiritual world. So astral spiritual world, that is lower than the advanced spiritual world. The advanced spiritual world is really higher, where the astral vehicle cannot really survive getting in the advanced spiritual world. So it needs another vehicle to travel into the advanced spiritual world. Except for the advanced spiritual world, except for the astral spiritual world, wherein the astral body is really free to linger life in the astral spiritual world, to experience the inner world. So the inner world is wider in scope, so wide, or even beyond words to explain, and words cannot really satisfy to describe the wholeness aspect of the advanced spiritual world or the inner world. So inherent in the package of divine healing is definitely the inner cultivation. We cannot actually perform well divine healing without inner cultivation, because in inner cultivation there is the mental discipline, which we describe into know thyself. Is knowing thyself, wherein that's knowing thyself will lead us into the realization of the soul. Without knowing thyself, it's quietly difficult to know thyself. It's quietly difficult to know who you are, what you are at advanced vibrational frequency. That's why instead of developing body, mind, soul, and spirit, we're not just only going to define that we are composed of body, mind, soul, and spirit. We are 7 dimensions of the soul. Because understanding the 7 dimensions of the soul in your inner cultivation will lead you to accelerate your realization of the soul. And then once we have the realization of the soul, it is actually the force of the spirit of the Supreme Infinite will work out in our consciousness. So playing role in our lives, the force of the spirit of the Supreme Infinite, once we can really activate our divine connections with the Supreme or with the advanced spiritual world, and once we can really activate the higher energies within the 7 dimensions of the soul, it's not just only body, mind, soul, and spirit. So that's why the first task, which is one of the ladders of the ascension of life into higher dimension, is actually accomplishing divine healing. So how we are going to accomplish divine healing? Definitely we will do divine healing. So that's why this is actually the calling for everybody to help for the healing of life and nature. And that's that activities of Dugukan we are doing right now. All teachers of the art of life, in the country, outside the country, everybody that will practice art of life cannot escape the first ladder of ascension, which is the first task to fulfill in life, which is to help for the healing of life and nature, because one of the ladders of life's ascension into higher dimension, as given by the Supreme Master of Heaven, the Almighty Supreme Source of Life. is to help the healing of life, and nature is actually doing divine healing. So it's realize this important task in life, doing divine healing. So definitely, when we are going to submit ourselves to accomplish the first task of these ladders of life's ascension into higher dimension, whatever reasons we can find in our mind to stop us from doing so, but we cannot really change the truth of the Supreme Infinite. The Supreme Infinite giving us the divine guidance that we should do divine healing. And just a way you are going to develop yourself, even to the point of knowing thyself, because by doing divine healing, you are going to activate your advanced spiritual function in connection of your consciousness, energy, light, life with the Supreme Absolute, with the advanced spiritual world, higher dimensions. So begin doing your exercises now involving divine healing. And this is actually our divine calling as commanded by the Supreme Absolute through the divine guidance of this formation by the Spirit of Dugukan to help for the healing of life and nature. So that's why we have this divine healing formation. Okay, so more power everyone, and always in our oneness with all the stars. This is actually the first mission in life, which will serve as our ladder into the ascension of life. Okay.
Message from Angel Kian. Good noon and good afternoon watching your live broadcast in Borrego, Cebu City, Philippines. SGMPS1-72.
Yes, Mat Anchiril, good afternoon to you, good day to you. Taga ko go di Bugnaw. Okay, so more power everyone, and always in our one is with all the stars. Okay, so this time is really, really good that we can connect with the positive energies and the energies that make us healthy and stronger in life. It means that if we are healthy, we are really stronger in life. That's the significant thing. The significant thing that we should do the exercise of the art of life, so to make us healthy all the time. And making healthy, that would mean inner cultivation. Inner cultivation. So, when you practice divine healing, energy healing, it means to say, we cannot delete the function of inner cultivation. Inner cultivation is actually significant in practicing divine healing. Anybody can practice divine healing, but not to the extent that you can master your energy without knowing the precise way. So that's why the method is actually essential in the formations of divine healing practice. And divine healing practice involving all the methods of natural healing. All the methods of natural healing, energy healing, mystical healing, psychic healing, helot healing, and involving all the method of natural healing. That's actually the divine healing, because the divine healing, the provider of the power, the divine source, or the Supreme Infinite. That's why it is the first task that everybody should accomplish as one of the ladders of life ascension into higher dimension, wherein you can illustrate the passion of your heart to serve life for the noble cause of light. This is actually very important to realize. Divine healing. The divine healing that will give us the opportunity to ascend, to grow into bigger light, to achieve realization of the soul. And then the second task, which I often mention, is to do spiritual counseling. Spiritual counseling is very important, because the way to enlighten the soul, the way to enlighten the heart, the way to enlighten the mind by doing spiritual counseling. And inherent in the practice of spiritual counseling is to activate wisdom. That is the activations of the force of the Spirit of the Supreme Infinite within the higher self. So it's coming from the higher self, the force of the Spirit of the Supreme Infinite, coming from the higher self, higher foundation of life. And at the 7 dimensions of the soul to activate the energy centers of the 7 dimensions of the soul, and each dimension has energy center, and activating the energy centers of the 7 dimensions of the soul to allow the force of the Spirit to come in, to work in our consciousness. And we will be having the power of understanding to discern higher knowledge, to discern inner things. And which I already shared with everyone discussing about the difference between the power of spiritual understanding and the power of human understanding. So the power of the spiritual understanding coming from the force of the Spirit of the Supreme Infinite. And the power of human understanding coming from our intellect and within the supremacy of the mind, coming from the source within the formations of the astral spiritual world. And then the beyond of the astral spiritual world is the advanced spiritual world, higher dimensions. And nobody can escape the second task, which is spiritual counseling, in the way we are going to ascend life into higher dimension. So this is actually the second ladders of ascension into a higher dimension. It means that we are going to be enlightened ourselves by the activations of our energy centers or the psychic channels of the body, and by the activations of the 7 energy or 7 dimensions of ourselves, and to activate those informations of advanced spiritual function within us or within the dimensions of ourselves. So inherent of the formation of spiritual counseling is the inner cultivation involving realization of the soul. So realization of the soul, we do divine healing, and then inherent or included in the practice of doing divine healing is spiritual counseling, and doing those activities are actually serving life's noble cause of life. So the activities of Dugukan are designed for all those activities that shall be fulfilled by any of the practitioners, loyal practitioners of Dugukan. And then the divine guidance are already given, and it's just up to us to do our lessons. And then if we are going to do our lessons, and with the passion of the heart, definitely we'll be having our good or progress, the spiritual development that will lead us into the fulfillment of our final mission in life here in the physical world. The final mission of life in the physical world, that is actually to accomplish life's ascension into higher dimension, involving 4 tasks, very important tasks. The second is the spiritual counseling. And the third one is the teaching of the art of life, which every teacher of the art of life are so familiar and actually doing the 3 tasks, and the plus or the additional one, which is the constructions of our temple of oneness with all. And then the third one is teaching of the art of life, 172. So inherent in the teaching of the art of life, you are going to help the people develop into brighter light. You are helping the brothers and sisters by teaching them the way, the right way into the right connection, the precise connection that will help them grow into brighter light. That will help them grow into brighter light which will lead them to achieve the realization of the soul. That's angels' contact and connection. Teaching of the art of life is teaching angels' contacts and connection, helping the people to connect with the Supreme Absolute through the Supreme Superlight angels manifesting the skies as mysterious lights. They are not UFOs in the versions of advanced technologies. Of course, we cannot deny the fact that there are unidentified flying objects which could be in the category of the advanced technologies, UFOs in the category of the advanced technologies. But when we're talking about mysterious lights manifesting the skies, UFO, but not really UFO at all, is actually the infinite, which is pertaining to the Supreme Absolute, Supreme Superlight Angels. The Supreme Superlight Angels. That's why we have these activities, the bridging of the divine radiance of the Supreme Master of Wisdom, Supreme Superlight Angels, for everybody to connect, so you can develop your spiritual martial arts. Mostly the development of the spiritual martial arts. Because to topple down enemies, especially for stronger enemies, which are negative energies that shall cause illnesses, bad lucks, and all those negative vibrational frequencies that shall ruin the peace and harmony of light, will need bigger powers, stronger powers. And the stronger power that you can develop in yourself when you are going to practice spiritual martial arts, your divine connection with the Supreme Absolute, and that you know the super light body formations of the angels. And even the people are claiming they are also angels, angels in the mortal foundation of life. And then we're talking about angels in the immortal foundation of life. And in fact, beyond words to explain. That's why we'll just referring them into Supreme Superlight Angels, and then you're going talking about the formations of the highest, and then that refers to the Supreme Absolute, and then so many people then called God. And then that is actually, we are going to talk more about the deeper aspect of the well-being of the Supreme Absolute in the formations of Supreme Superlight. And then ancient writers written in the scripture, and then they were described those formations into consuming fire of God. Consuming fire of God, because it can consume, it can devour mortal physical, it can devour material things. That's why I'm talking about the super light nature of the Supreme Absolute. And then this thing that you can teach them, you can teach the people, the brothers and sisters, when you are going to teach angels contact and connection, you are going to enlighten the hearts, the minds of the brothers and sisters or the people regarding to the real nature of the Supreme Absolute, which is super light body foundation. The super light body foundation, not carbon atom life foundation. So there are angels immortal by nature, and the nature of their body, the very nature of their body is super light or supreme super light. And getting well familiar with the Supreme Superlight formation of the angels are actually doing activities involving angels, contacts, and connection. So that's why whenever the time people would like to look for the sightings of mysterious lights manifesting the skies, and then at the site of Dugukan, it is every day, angels, contacts, and connection. Every day, there is actual sighting of the mysterious lights manifesting the skies, and then the common people describe them into unidentified flying objects or UFOs. And then practitioners of the art of life, they are not describing, talking about unidentified flying objects to refer to the aliens or higher beings, and they are talking about Supreme Superlight Angels coming from the Supreme Absolute with a certain purpose also, while they are actually manifesting right now, getting closer with the entire humanity. And there's the formula: receive, align, and adapt for the people to receive the truth of the Supreme Absolute. And then there is also the precise method, how they are going to develop stronger energies to attain realization of the soul, to fulfill arranging life's final ascension into higher dimension. Is actually developing your powerful spiritual martial arts by practicing angels' contact and connection, that you can be able to overcome whatever trials that will try the balance of your peace and harmony. You can overcome all your enemies, especially black star formation, black star energy. We don't have enemies anyway, brothers and sisters. That's why when you are going to practice martial arts, this is very important principle in the practice of martial arts, that anyway, everybody is within the principle of spiritual martial arts. Nobody is exempted, because even though we would say that I will not practice martial arts because I don't have enemy and I don't know anything, because what is significant at this time is only love, peace, and harmony. That is not actually the practicality in life, because the practicality in life, if you are weaker, and then the world is so tougher and not so kind. That's why for so many victims of blinding ignorance, and then the world is really tricky and not so kind, victims of negative destiny. But we are not going to allow negative destiny to topple us down. So that's why, if we'll be having negative destiny, so reject the negative destiny. And what you are going to do? Develop your spiritual martial arts, because you need to create your own destiny, because that is given you. God or the source give you that kind of power that you can create your destiny by action, knowing thyself. Life is really wonderful. That's the formula in life. There's no other meaning in life where you are going to experience wonderful meaning in your life. You should develop the powerful energy you have in your life. That's the power of your spiritual martial arts. This way, developing powerful spiritual martial arts, you need to practice art of life. And then for the teachers of the art of life, teach art of life, because that is one of the essential tasks, not just important tasks, essential tasks, because you are arranging life's final ascension into higher dimension. You are brighter light now. So that's why when people are looking for sightings, and then they are so actually eager about sightings of UFOs or mysterious lights manifesting the skies, and they are going to look for more evidence for the phenomenon of mystery light manifesting the skies. And then they are going to look for places where they can gather evidences. And sometimes they can gather, and sometimes they could not, because they don't know where really to find timings of mysterious lights that will appear in the sky. And then I said that at the site of Dugukan, every day, and at the site, and where are the sites of Dugukan? Anywhere in the world where there is teacher of art of life, there is teacher of art of life. This is one thing very important. Anywhere in the place, or in the world, in the region, anywhere, so long as there is teacher of art of life that can teach you art of life, and then there is actually sighting of angels' contact and connection. It means to say, when I'm talking about the sites of Dugukan, anywhere where there is chapter of Dugukan, you can find the site of Dugukan, so long as there is teacher of art of life. Because teacher of art of life, they are actually ordained for that particular purpose, divinely ordained for that particular purpose, to teach lessons of art of life. Because art of life is very essential for everybody, and nobody is exempted with the formation of the angels' contact and connection in the final days. Because who will save us for the bigger events of time, wherein beyond the human's power to control? That's why there is a divine intervention. The divine intervention will give us the chance to be sheltered with bigger powers, so for us to be able to survive and to escape the big events involving destructive force that can really ruin the soul, that can really ruin lives. So it means to say that we need to look for the sight. We are going to actually find way we can begin learning the lessons of angels contact and connection, or Art of Life 172. So the fourth task, anyway, is we have done the third task, which is teaching Art of Life 172. This teaching of the Art of Life 172 is very essential for everybody. Once you are going to practice Art of Life, and then you are going to practice Art of Life because you are going to serve life's noble cause of light, and that is teaching Art of Life 172. And then the fourth task, or the additional of the three, is building up the temple of oneness with all the stars. So each chapter is a site of Dugukan, because again, we have to expound the meaning of Dugukan. Some people said that the 172 is negative. How can you find negative 172? This one thing, within the mind, within the heart, the human intellect is always within the supremacy of the astral spiritual world, within the supremacy of the mind. Whatever the mind can think, whatever the mind can understand, is within the formations of the astral spiritual world. So that's why it needs for everybody actually to expand spiritual awareness. And the method is really essential, precise method, how you are going to go beyond the power of the human intellect, so that you're not any longer be succumbed with the illusions of the mind that will diminish your inner strength. When you are going to face the negatives, or Satan or Lucifer, you are not worried at all, because you know that you cannot be harmed by such kind of negative, because you have that kind of potential, you have that kind of power. You are with the absolute truth, beyond the illusion of the mind, beyond the illusion of the mind, beyond the human vibrational frequency. You are at advanced vibrational frequency. It means to say you are not just only believing because you go beyond that formation any longer. What you are doing, because you are doing that because you know that the truth you are actually doing is infinite. That the truth that what you are doing is infinite. So it's actually going beyond belief. And if you're just only believing that practicing angels contacts and connection are negative, is from the evil, it's the mind connecting with the evil thoughts and creating more people that will populate in the mental dimensions of your soul. And then all those thoughts are believing that evils and evils, and without doing something any longer good. So what will matter really by this time? What is the thing that will really matter in this time? So that's why in the martial arts practice, there is very important thing, the principle of martial arts of Dugukan. When you practice stick fighting, and then you do as much as you can just to be on guard of the strike, because you wouldn't like to be hit by the stick. And every move of the stick, your eyes are focused on the movement of the sticks. And then, but you cannot really catch up every move of the stick when it comes to speed, because speed is actually, when it comes to speed, is unfathomable if it is so fast. When speed is beyond the grasp of our understanding, because it cannot be caught up by the eyes, it means to say that you are left behind. Not just only one step behind, 10 steps behind, because you are watching every movement of the stick. So do not look at the stick. What you are going to do is expand your spiritual awareness Look at the heart, look at the mind, look at the body of your opponent. Do not look at the stick, because the stick is just like words. And the same story. This is actually a very important principle in the spiritual martial arts. When you are going to listen up with words, playing words, and then words are really deceitful when it comes to combat. And then your enemy would like you to get angry, because by getting angry, you are going to lose your balance. And you are going to lose the focus of your spiritual understanding. It means to say that do not listen with the words. Just listen to, just look at to the soul of the person. Just look at to the spirit. Just look at to the inner side. Just actually centering yourself with the eternity meaning of life. And then just forget the words when it comes to facing tougher kinds of enemy or stronger enemy. And definitely you can defeat your enemy, because you're not just looking or listening the words of your enemies, actually creating formations just to delude you, just to destroy you, or just to ruin the balance of your peace and harmony. But if you are going to focus on the centralization of your spirit, and then looking at the essence of the soul of the person, and then you will realize that it's so easy to topple down your opponent by the passions of the love of the heart. Because words are actually words and would not harm you if you know your spiritual martial arts. And this is the thing. That's why when you practice martial arts, the Dugukan harness, for example, or Eskrima or street fighting, in the actual training, if you are going to look at the stick, you are misled with the speed. But if you are not going to focus looking the stick, where the stick goes, and then what you are going to focus is look at the heart, look at the mind, and the energy of your opponent or the energy of your sparring mate, and then you'll discover that the stick is just a stick, and movement is just simple movement, and nothing that you cannot really catch up. That's because you can really define the movement of the stick, because the holder of the stick, you are definitely defining and you are getting familiar with. But if you're not doing so because you are going to look at the stick is really undefinable when you don't know the force driving it. That's why it is very important also to look at the very root of origin of the force driving the stick. So it means to say it is very important also to look at the force, the origin of the force driving the words. So if the words are so negative and intend to ruin your peace and harmony, just ignore the words and focus on the heart, focus on the mind, focus on the spirit, and observe every moment of the energies. That is the meaning of spiritual awareness. It's so essential to focus on spiritual awareness. So that's why it's not necessarily that we are going to listen every word. What we are going to listen is every vibration, and that is actually higher accuracy, and that will make the big difference. So inherent in the practice of the teaching of the art of life is spiritual awareness. And all the divine corrections, you really need to grow into brighter light. Growing into brighter light is growing into bigger light, and to achieve realization with the soul. And achieving realization with the soul, that will open up the key for you to ascend life into higher dimension. So that's why the tasks which we are enumerating right now are our ladders of life's ascension into higher dimension. So don't you really forget the essential tasks. Those are essential tasks. That if we are going to arrange life's ascension into higher dimension, we cannot escape the formations given by the Supreme Absolute in the formations of Dugukan. In the formations of Dugukan, because the formations of Dugukan involving activities of life's ascension into higher dimension, and the transformation of the carbon atom life foundation into Advanced Elemental Foundation, from Advanced Elemental Foundation into Superlight Body Foundation, and then from the Superlight Body Foundation into Supreme Superlight Body Foundation. Again, any place where there is teacher of art of life, 172, there is permanent angels contact and connection. And then if you are going to look for sightings and would like to be aided on your research about mysterious lights manifesting the skies, and then you have a good person that can help you with that, and look for teachers of the art of life, 172. They are not going to proclaim you the truth of the Supreme Superlight Angels. They are going to help you get your data to begin your inner discovery. And then until the time that you would like to get even deeper knowing about mysterious lights manifesting the skies. Okay, so that's really, really nice seeing you today in our One is with All the Stars. So, I talk about the sight. So, today, and then, atong mga kaisunan to adito karon sa atong site, and then we'll be having this project of opening a road right of way for the people to visit at the site, and then the site will become accessible for everybody that shall visit the site for spiritual nourishment, for the spiritual activities of Dugukan. And that's why I'm so glad that the brothers and sisters who have participated the contributions by contributing love energies for that project, because that project is for everybody to visit, everybody to practice, everybody to look for spiritual nourishment. So that's actually your light service you can offer to the brothers and sisters, to everybody that shall visit at the site. We need not to count that we're just only the people contributing for the project, and then just the people will come there free without any fees. That is not the way it is done, because what we are doing is light service. Light service where we are going to offer our passion of the heart without expecting something in return. And of course, for some people who don't understand and they are going to greet their passion of the heart, they are not actually included in the package of this divine calling, because the divine calling is for everybody to voluntarily serve the light. And then voluntarily serve, that's actually the meaning of unconditional love. There is no unconditional love at all if we are going to force our heart. And that's why when people would not like to share their love, and we are not going to force their love, because that is not the lesson it is done. And for everybody also who are participating in the project, you have done it because you have the passion to serve the Supreme Absolute without expecting something in return. So doing something because we do this because it will gain more. And that's not actually the way it is done for divine healing. What we are doing, what you are doing, is actually you are creating your light service dedicated for the Supreme Infinite, dedicated for the healing of life and nature, making the site accessible for everybody. And which I hope that every chapter also will do that, the same permission what we are doing at the site. And if you have the site, especially in outside the country, you can begin developing your site in such a way, inviting everyone to experience the wonders in life by teaching them Art of Life 172. By teaching them holistic arts. And then if they have passion of the heart to help the project, okay, have it. Creating project where everybody can participate. And do not force anyone, because anyone who dislike the formation, they are not yet ready for that realization. It means when the heart is greedy for that, or is greedy for the formation, and could not bestow anything, it means to say that there is no place for that, or in someone's heart, for that activity. And of course, if anybody also would like to visit you or at the site, everybody is welcome, so long as they are going to look for the activities that can nourish them in line with the divine mission that we are sharing with everybody. And of course, bad elements that will go to the site or that will go to your place, and protect yourself from the bad elements. That's the power of spiritual martial arts. And then you are going to protect yourself from the harms of the negative energy. So the lessons that we are sharing with everyone are indispensable lessons that will aid you to prepare yourself for the bigger events of time, involving illnesses, famine, and violent force of nature, negative psychic attacks, and everything pertaining to the negative vibrational frequency, or in short, mind-power control poisoning. Let's be careful with the mind-power control poisoning. It's very essential that we can protect ourselves from the harms of the negative psychic attacks, from the harms of the mind-power control poisoning. And then mind-power control poisoning, that will involve chemical poisoning, radiation poisoning, and let's be careful with the negative psychic attacks. Okay, so more power everyone, and Illumination, our one is with all the stars, and joining with us.
Message from Magaton Mary Ann Ramos. Good day, SGMPS1-72. Watching you here at Word Chapter.
Yes, Aptik Mirian, mayong adlaw kanimo, more power.
Message from Aptik Chelsea Alupi. Good afternoon, SGMPS1-72. Watching here in Word Chapter.
Yes, Aptik Chelsea, mayong adlaw ni Muday, more power.
Message from Igmat Marie Cabardo. Good afternoon, SGMPS1-72.
Yes, good afternoon too. Imari Cabardo, always in our one is with all the stars for everybody in the holistic art of Dugukan. More and more activities of the angels' contact and connection.
Message from Aptik Zam Kabuntukan. Magandang tanghali po, SGMPS1-72.
Yes, magandang tanghali sa iyo, Sam, and more power on your divine mission.
Message from Matan Jamaiza Restauro. Good afternoon, SGMPS1-72. Watching here in Word Chapter.
Yes, good afternoon to you, Matan Jumaisa Ristaro, more power.
Message from Matan Junel Aladaan. Good afternoon, SGMPS1-72. Watching here in the Dugukan main site.
Yes, Matan Janel, good afternoon to you, and more power sa tanang mga taga-Dugukan.
Message from Gareth Greens. Help my partner with her health.
Yes, in few minutes from now, we will begin our descent energy healing. And you can connect. Yeah.
Message from P. Sardido. Hi, Sir JM.
Yes, Fee, hello to you, and more power.
Message from Magaton Annalyn Cavalida. Marinaong Adlaw SGMPS1-72 sa tanan. Watching
Yes.
live here at Nabunturan, Davao de Oro.
Yes, Annalyn, good afternoon to you. Regards sa atong mga kagalaan niya sa Davao, mga Panginoon na din sa Kapiskay sa Panglawas. More power.
Message from Igmat Jen Lauren. Good afternoon, SGMPS1-72. Watching you live here at Dugukan Kilot Center. More power to everyone.
Yes, Atik or Igmatjin, more Amatanjin. More power to you.
Message from Magaton Castuni Anamo. Magandang araw po, SGMPS1-72 at sa lahat po. Watching in the province of Baguio, Benguet.
Yes, Matan. Magkataon, more power to you. In regards sa tanang mga kagalaan sa lahat nating mga kaibigan dyan sa Benguet. Okay, some more of the activities, and do not forget the very important information regarding the ladders of life's ascension into higher dimension. So we're talking about ascension, and in fact, light workers in the world are talking about ascension. So inherent in the ladders of the ascension, which we define into divine healing, spiritual counseling, teaching art of life 172, and constructing the temple of our oneness with all the stars are the activities or exercises that will let you grow into bigger light, that can allow your consciousness to align with the advanced spiritual world. Only that the thing that by this time we need to get to know the way how we are going to realize all these things, especially by this time that there is the ongoing divine intervention. The ongoing divine intervention of the Supreme Absolute. So that's why there are exercises that we are going to share with everyone. And the teachers of the art of life are the persons in authority. Persons on authority to teach the art of life, because they are ordained for that particular purpose in life. Bigger responsibility, because teaching is actually the matter of learning. And you are going to teach the art of life 172, and you are even getting more and more familiarizations of your lesson, and you will be even enhanced of the lessons until to the level of mastery that you are going to achieve in life. The art of life 172 is very essential for everybody to realize. As I'm saying that there are only two supreme powers colliding in the final end of time. So a new beginning will come in. And those are the powers of the art of life and or the art of destruction. And there are we. So we should be in the art of life. Nobody would like to be in the art of destruction. But only the thing, if we can grid our heart to receive the bridging of the Supreme Absolute, because we go with always with the belief as mandated by our human understanding, and then that is actually the way into the big losers of time anyway, the big loss in life, because it's really essential by this time to listen to the truth of the Supreme Absolute. And that's why I said that before. I had made this I had made a joke that when you visit the hell, tell Lucifer or tell Satan that give you coffee, and or be friend with the personnel of the hell, because they cannot really harm you. And they are also afraid to harm you because you are with the Supreme Absolute. And then if you are with the Supreme Absolute, and then how's anyone can harm you in the hell? You'll just visit in the hell as a very, very important person, and then get back, because you're not really for the hell. And the hell will not allow you to be there, stay forever, because you can ruin the hell. But if you are going to dwell in the illusions of fears and afraid that those are evils, those are from the negatives, and then what are the determinations of the negatives? And then by action, listen deep within your heart. Listen with the force of the Spirit deep within you. And of course, we cannot listen as well if we don't know how to listen the voice of the Absolute deep within us. And if we are going to listen to the voice of the Absolute deep within us, so empty your mind. This is one thing. Why are we going to empty up our mind during meditation? So when you are practicing a system of meditation, whatever kind of system of meditation, and then the basic is you have to empty up your mind and listen deep within. So what does the meaning of emptying the mind? So the meaning of emptying the mind is eradicate all those thoughts, negative thoughts, so higher knowledge will come in. When higher knowledge will come in, and then you will begin seeing a new picture of reality. But as you are going to continue the formations of your mind within full of intellect, it means full of understanding. It means to say that everything that you are going to perceive and you are going to define. And everything that you can perceive in the heart by emotion, you are going to define. Till to the point that you lose the opportunity of knowing the force of the Spirit of the Supreme Infinite. Because what you are doing is giving all the definitions to what you perceive and to what you think by the power of the human intellect. It means that you are losing the opportunity of listening to the voice of the Supreme and Infinite. How you are going to listen to the voice of the Supreme Infinite? Eradicate all those judgmental activities in your mind, in your heart, and begin knowing that the force of the Spirit of the Supreme Infinite is a very soft energy, tender energy, and so much their meaning of the soft energy that will entitle you to the way of the absolute, that will let you see the things that the mind could not ever see. It is that it can define the things beyond the power of the human understanding, beyond your imagination. And you can begin with angels contact and connection. Do not afraid of the numbers, or do not afraid of the words, because the words and the numbers are actually the language of the spiritual world. And it's up to us to begin this information of knowing the truth of the Supreme Absolute. We should be art of life, never art of destruction. Okay, message. Okay, so more power everyone, and for the update of our road right of way, which I really hope that sooner human na tong atong road right of way nga to para saya na kay pag ato sa atong side. And there is now a calling for everyone. Adto mo sa site, come to the site, and we will be doing their activities, angels contact and connection, walking in the grid of the sun, and celebrating our oneness with all the stars. Okay, so that's why we have to arrange the site for everybody. And just by this time, and then looking at the activities, we are really developing into bigger formation because of everybody's unity. Okay, so let's get stronger in this unity and making this actually big difference to illustrate what's creating giant waves of positive energies to help for the healing of life and nature. Okay, so let's do the divine healing by this time. All you have to do is just to connect with my hands. And I'm going to request the power of the Supreme Master of Wisdom, Supreme Master Akadasar, Supreme Superlight Angels, the Spirit of Dugukan, to send divine healing for everybody that will connect with this divine healing transmission. And you would be healed of your illnesses. And when there is negative energy contaminations or demonic positions, all those negative energies and demonic positions would be burned up by the power of the Supreme Infinite, including all the bad lucks will be cleansed up and will be deleted in your energy field. Connect. Now, blessings for the water. Now, divine healing connection for everybody who would like to learn, receive the divine healing power from the Supreme Absolute, so you can also do your energy healing. Connect to receive. So it's done. So, atong mga pasalamat sa labang magkagahom for the blessings that everyone had received, and everyone received the divine healing from the Supreme Master of Heaven. Okay, so really nice seeing you today, brothers and sisters, in our Oneness with All the Stars, and more of the activities of our Oneness with All the Stars. And before we are going to close our screen,
Message from Abdi Anji Katan. Good afternoon, SGMPS1-72. Watching here from our mall. Happy weekend, everyone.
yes, Antik Anji, more power to you, and regards sa tanang mga kagalaan na to diya sa Ormo. Okay, so that's all for today, and until the next time, we are going to continue our activities in the live broadcast, sharing the lessons of our Oneness with All the Stars. So wherever you go, always have with you the peace and harmony of the Supreme Master of Heaven, Supreme Superlight Angels, Holy Infinite. More power.